Welcome back to Students Math Corner. I am your host, Brandon Reed. And as always, if this is your first time to the channel, a special welcome to you. Well, it's a new week and we have a new lesson. So, what are we going to be learning about? Today's lesson, finding length, width, and height when given volume. Last week, we learned how to find the volume of a rectangular prism. This week, we'll look at how to find the length, width, and height of a prism when given the volume. Now, you remember the formula for volume, correct? Volume equals length times width times height. But when you're trying to find length or width or height, because they give you the volume, it can get a little bit complicated. So, for example, the volume of the box is 240 inches cubed. The length of the box is 12 inches and the height is 4 inches. But what is the width? Well, the formula is right here. And all we do is we replace 240 with V because we know what the volume is. And then we replace 12 and 4 with whatever those are. So 12 is the length and 4 is the height. The only thing that we don't know is the width. So you would have to solve for W, not V, which would be the volume. So let's do some practice problems. So we're going to follow these steps. So step 1, you want to combine like terms. And then step 2, you want to do the opposite, which in this case is multiply or divide. So if I'm using my pen, I'm going to fill in what I already know. So here's the length, width, and height. And they give us the volume. It's 48. So the length, we don't know. So that's going to be my L. The width we do, it's 8. And then the height is 10. So now what I need to do is I need to combine them. Okay. So what am I going to combine? Well, I'm going to combine the two numbers that I have, which is 8 and 10. So that would be 48 equals 80 L. Because 8 times 10 is 80, and then we would times that by L, which would look like this. But I need to get that L by itself. So how would I do that? Well, that's the second step. You're going to do the opposite, which is multiply or divide. So I'm going to divide because this is 80 times L, and the opposite of times is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 80. And then I take 48 divided by 8, which is going to give me a really weird number. So in my calculator, I type in 48 divided by 80, and I get 0.6. But that would be our length. So then what I would do is I would put 0.6 in for L. And then when I multiply them all together, I should get 48 inches cubed. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take 0.6 times 8 times 10. And sure enough, I get 48. So it works out. And that's how you would do that's how you would find the missing length, width, or height. Okay. And notice something here. It kind of looks like a two-step equation or a one-step equation, right? Because the first thing that you need to do is you need to combine like terms and do the opposite. Sometimes in equations, we do have to combine like terms, but in all equations, you're going to have to do the opposite in order to get the variable by itself. So let me do another one with you. So in this one, we've got 4 yards for the length. We don't know what the width is, but we've got 8 yards for the height. So I'm going to fill in what I know. They give us the volume, which is 64. The length is 4. The width, we don't know, but we do know the height, which is 8. So now I'm going to take 64 times, or I'm going to take 4 times 8, and then I'm going to divide that by 64. So what is 4 times 8? Well, if you said 32, you are correct. And it would be 32W, or 32 times W. Now, the second step, because we've already done combining like terms, now we need to get this W by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 32. And in my calculator, I'm going to type that in. 64 divided by 32. And I get 2. And 2 equals W. So if I were to put that in for W, I would take 4 times 2 times 8, and I would get 64, which is what I got. Hopefully you're starting to see the pattern and it's becoming a little bit more clear for you. But let's do one more just to be safe. So I've got a new rectangular prism. This time, the length is 6, the height we don't know, but the width is 5, and the volume is 35. So let's go ahead and fill in what we know. 35 for the volume, the length is 6, the width is 5, but we don't know what the h is, the height. That's what we're solving for. So I'm going to combine my like terms. 6 times 5 is 30. My volume is 35. And so now my actual equation reads 35 equals 30 times h. Now I can do the opposite. Instead of 30 times h, I'm going to divide by 30 on both sides. These cancel out, and then that leaves me with 35 divided by 30, which gives me 1.166666 repeating. So sometimes in math, you will get things like that. So how would you write that? Well, you would put 1.16, and then I'm going to put a line over that 6 because that line means repeating. And then that would be h. And then if I wanted to test it out, I simply type that in. So I'm going to take 1.166666 repeating times 6 times 5, and I get 35, which is what my volume is. So hopefully now volume seems a little bit more simple for you. And if you are missing the length, width, or height, but you're given the volume, you should be able to find whatever those are. Now, volume is great, and the volume formula is easy when you are trying to find a rectangular prism. But we don't normally fill up boxes and drink out of them. We usually use cups or some sort of cylindrical thing, like a glass or a cup or a mug. And those are what we use for volume. So how do we find volume of those? Well, that's actually a video for the next time. Now, if you liked what you saw, you learned something new, or you're new to the channel, please click that like button. And if you want updates on future videos, feel free to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for updates on future videos. And as always, if you have questions or comments, or there's some particular math problem that you might need help with, please drop a line in the comments section and I'd be happy to help. And until next time, class dismissed.